Hi everyone, my name is Kassandra and I'm going to bake my signature dish, homemade French bread. So to make this, you're going to start with 3 3/4 cup of bread flour. So that's 3 3/4. You're going to do 2 teaspoons of yeast. You're going to put it on one side of the bowl. 2 teaspoons of salt, and put that on the opposite side of the bowl. And then the sugar just depends how sweet you like it. In my family, we like just about 2 big heaping spoons of sugar, and you're just going to put that right in the middle. But you don't have to put any sugar at all, it's just your preference. Then you're going to do half a cup of warm water. So once your water reaches to 120 degrees, you're going to pour it over the side with the yeast. And this is why we separated the yeast and the salt, so the water can hit the yeast first and start fermenting fast. And then you're just going to mix on low speed until it forms a ball. So after you've been beating your dough for a couple minutes, I'm gonna take the dough out, and it's pretty sticky, but you can add flour as you're kneading the dough. So just move everything out of the way and put a good amount of flour down. Separate it, coat it, and then you're just going to dig your hand in and then wrap it over on top. Dig it, so dig. So it creates like a dome, and then you're going to wrap it on top, and you're just going to do that until the dough is nice and elastic. And when you don't need to add any more flour to the surface and you know you're done. So the reason this bread recipe is my signature dish is because my family is part German, and whenever we go and visit my family in Germany, there's always bread. It's just a really popular food to eat there, and so we've just become addicted to it. But this simple French bread recipe is just our favorite here. So as you can see, the bread is nice and elastic, and it doesn't need any more flour. So you're going to oil this bowl that you just used to mix it. Just oil it nice and good, and then you're gonna form this into a little ball. Put it right in the middle, punch it down a bit, and then oil the top. And you're gonna cover this with plastic wrap and let this rise for about 1 hour to 2 hours or overnight. So once your dough has been rising, it'll look like this. And you just want to punch it down. And then pull it out of the bowl. And you're just going to flatten it out with your hands and make like a semi-big rectangle. It doesn't have to be perfect, so we're going to be rolling this up. And you know you kneaded your dough block up if you don't need any flour on your surface at this stage. So once you have it into a rectangle, you're going to fold one side halfway, and then do the same on the other side, overlapping it. And then you're going to just punch down the middle so it flattens out again. And then you're going to take the sides, bring it up, and then pinch them together all the way across. And this just makes fluffier texture because you're like layering the dough. So punch the sides in. And then once you have that, put seam side down and just even out the dough. And this is going to make two loaves, so you're going to cut this in half. So you can kind of see the inside. And so you're going to pinch the insides close too. Then you're going to create slits on top so you can allow steam to ferment throughout. Just go about like a quarter of an inch deep. So your dough will look like this. So after you've cut your dough, you're going to get a piece of parchment paper and just lightly spray it, and then put your loaves on. And then you're going to get a towel damp, and just damp enough to where if you squeeze it, no water comes out. And then you're just going to lay it over the top and let that rise for about 2 hours or overnight if you can. So once your dough has risen, you're going to take the towel off, and this is what it's going to look like. You're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees with the bread in. And the trick to getting a really hard crust on the French bread is get half a cup of water, and you're going to pour it at the bottom of the oven, and it creates a lot of steam, and you're going to cook it for about 30 minutes. So after about 20 minutes, you're going to turn the bread around so that it can cook nice and evenly, and then just cook it for another 10 to 15 minutes until it's nice and golden brown. So after 30 minutes and the bread is nice and golden brown, it'll look like this when it's done. But just to make sure, with the thermometer, stick it in the side of the dough, and if it reads 190 degrees or above, you know it's good. So this is your finished product, nice and golden brown on both sides. And if you cut it right in the middle, you can see how it layered a bit and it's nice and fluffy. It smells amazing. Just gotta try a piece. That little bit of sweetness is so good, and this is just perfect with like jam and butter. It's really good. Well, thank you for watching.